Okay, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. We're about to start. Just to give you um, a formal introduction to the lab. Before I start, can you just put a ping me a WhatsApp or in the chat box to confirm that you can see the lab? Okay, excellent. Okay, good. All right. This lab is quickly going to be about evaluating the managing of software updates with SCCM 2012 release 2. After completing this evaluation, we're going to integrate Configuration Manager 2012 with WUS. We'll analyze software updates compliance. We'll distribute updates using the Configuration Manager 2012 release 2. We'll also create an automatic deployment rule to deploy updates automatically. This lab we're going to be using two out of the three VMs that are running. We'll use this primary site server, which, as you can see, has the configuration manager pre-installed, and we will also be using the client machine, as you can see here. And if we just go to the software center, I've pinned it to the taskbar. As you can see, there is nothing available to install right now. Okay, so just close that. Go back to the primary site. So, a few things that I need to show you on the primary site server. The only things that I've configured, nothing much. The only on the device collection, obviously, I've set up the different, set up a few collections for devices. And what else should I show you? Okay, also in the administration, I could show you that we have some distribution groups. So those are some distribution groups. And last but not the least, also under the client settings, just to show you that the software updates has been enabled. Okay, so sorry, so that pretty much covers that. First, I just want to show you, and now I want to quickly show you on the WUS that the WUS software has the WUS role has been installed on this machine. Now, this is not actually ideal. I wouldn't really recommend it this that you do this. If I just go into service actually, because I just want to show you that although it's installed, it's not running at the moment. I will be setting up another video on showing you how to set up WUS and all that. But for now, we just want to point out that this is installed on this machine, and we're going to use this primary site server and as the WUS server for this configuration. It's not ideal. I would prefer that you have a member server, but just to make things less complicated, we're having everything installed on the same machine. So so the first thing that we're going to do is that we're going to add in the administration. We're going to add. Go back to view. We're going to add there's configurations. We're going to add the role for the updates, software updates. So if we add these, so if you add the roles, hang on. Yep. No, we don't have anything to do there. So we're going to add the software update point. So we add that there. So basically, the software update points integrates the Windows Server with WUS and provides the software updates to the client configuration manager clients. So we are going to take the default. Yeah, take the default. Okay, it's important that what we're going to do here is that we're going to set this to do not synchronize with the Microsoft Update upstream or data source, because this lab is isolated, and we do not have access to the internet, and we do not have access to an upstream um, Microsoft server. So I mean, WUS server. We're going to set this to do not synchronize from the Microsoft update stream. We have actually got some updates that we'll be using, which is on the, so in the labs we should have on the here, we have the synthetic, we have some synthetic software here that we'll be using. Okay, so let's move on. Sorry, so click on next. We're going to set this to alert when synchronization fails on any site in the hierarchy. Click next. Do not expire. Yeah. Okay, so this is good to add. Just leave it as the default. Do not expire superseded software update until the software update is superseded for a specific period, and the default is 3, so we're just going to leave that. So now you now do have the opportunity to set up the classification and the products. First, I will advise you to clear everything by highlighting everything and then removing everything. And what we're going to choose, we're going to only choose the critical and the service packs. So those are the only two things that classifications we're going to choose. On the products, we're going to highlight all and take them all out. We will be revisiting this, and I'll show you another place where you can add products. So click next. We're going to get rid of all the other languages, and we're just going to use English for this. Okay. And confirm. Yep. And click next. Yep. It's all good. And click close. So far we have added the role. Let me scroll down just to show you. We've added an R and configured the role for the configuration for the software update point. Now we could verify the in the logs just to make sure that this has all been done correctly by going to the logs, and if we scroll down to SSU, and as you can see, I'll highlight that for you hopefully. As you can see, the installation was successful. Okay, so continue, and the other log we can just show you for the database. So if we click on this, not really the best form, but so if I show you, yeah, there you go. So that shows you that database was successfully checked. So let me just highlight that again, sorry. Okay. All right. So that pretty much covers that. Another place where you can monitor the progress is if you go to the monitoring workspace and click on the status. First, we're going to click on status site, and if I show you where we have, there you go. So messages all for the first 1 day. Click OK, and as you can see, the last entries all show good, all good. All right. Let me see if I can. So everything is all good. So okay. Also, if you go to the component status, if I just rearrange this, scroll back up, And if we click on the WSUS Sync Manager, no, the WSUS Control Manager, actually, yeah, that's what we need for now because we haven't actually done any syncs. And for the past 1 day, click OK. So if you look, it shows here in the order as which things were done. Let me see if I can make this a bit better. So it shows it detects the components, installing the components, successfully install the component, and the component is started. So basically, you're looking for message ID 500. Okay, so we have now completed this. The next thing that we're going to do is that we are going to force a synchronization of the configuration manager site database with the updates for the software update point, which was installed on the WSUS server update, which is obviously the same primary site server. So to do this, we need to go back to the software library workstation, and we click on software updates or software. And so under all software, as you can see, under all software updates, there is nothing has been found right now. So if we run a synchronization and click yes to the message, so this is going to be running in the background, but I want to also use this opportunity to show you where you can modify the products, because if you remember when we were setting up the software updates point, we did not include any products. We only included the classifications, which was critical and software packages, service packs, I mean. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So do remember that we've done one synchronization. We're going to do another synchronization after we've made the modifications. So if we go back to the administration work site and click on the sites and click on settings, component sites, software update point. And as you can see, the classification shows that they've got the critical updates and the service pack there. And on the products, we're just going to add the lab products. That's what all we're going to add. Obviously, in a production environment, you will add whatever products you want. Okay. So we're going to click OK to that. So now that we've done this, we need to synchronize this again. So if we go back to all software and we'd run this synchronization again. So we've run two synchronizations. So we've forced the two synchronization, and I just want to show you now that we've forced this synchronization, we're going to go back to the monitoring workspace and view the WSUS sync that I clicked on previously. So I'm going to check for all messages for the past day. So as you can see, it shows that the WSUS synchronization started in progress, and the synchronization was done for the first synchronization, and it started the second one, but it hasn't completed. So if we could refresh, or just close it and go back in again. Okay, it's still started. Let's just wait a few minutes and let's go back. I think it's F5 to refresh, but I find this is a better way to synchronize. So as you can see, started. We've got a step forward now. It's now synchronized. The synchronization is in progress. I just want to make sure that we see the 6702 shows that the WSUS synchronization was done for the second synchronization that we did. So let's just wait a bit. We could do F5, but okay, yeah, that's it. That's better. So we got the 6702 and 6702. the WSUS synchronization is now completed for both synchronization. Okay, so with that done, what I would like to show you now is we could on the monitoring to okay, yeah, on the monitor you still have you can view the software updates, and this gives you more information. Now the information that is critical here to view, you could see the last time that an attempt was made, and you can see when it was completed, and you can also see the catalog version, and you can also see the synchronization source, which is important for this case. We're not synchronizing to any to Microsoft or updates, or to any upstream WSUS server. Okay, so that's the catalog, and that shows gives you all the information. So this is another cool place to get information. Also, you could you could also go back to the logs, and if you do a search for the okay, there you go, the WSUS Sync Manager, and let's see if we could do right. Okay, so already in a wrap. If we scroll back to the bottom, we should be able to see. Okay, there you go. Okay, there you go. That's what I wanted. Let me just magnify that for you. Oh no, that is not what I wanted. And let me see if I can magnify this for you. So there you go. Updated 46 items in the SMS database. The new update source content version is now 1, which I previously showed you. Okay. So let me close that. So we have completed and I've shown you that that the synchronization was completed, and I've shown you all the information about in the library. Now, what I want to now show you is actually, if I go back to the library, yep, it has already it's now all there. Sorry for coughing. So if you do notice that there is nothing here at any point in time, all you need to do is to run a summarization and click OK, and you need to do a refresh. Normally I just get out of that level and go back into that level, and it will refresh. So that's the only thing I want to show you, in case you run the synchronization and you do not see them all updated here. So sorry. So as you can see, the updates, they're all as you click on each one, and you get more information on this pie chart about compliancy, whether they're required or not. But all that information is also shown here for each one. So in this case, they're all compliant 0, and no machine has requested for the packages at this point in time. But what we are now going to do is we're going to generate update status on the configuration manager client. To do this, first I'm going to do it on the client machine. What I could do is I will do this first here. So if I go to the control panel, save this to the desktop just in case I need to go there. So on the action, we're going to do the machine policy retrieval and evaluation circle. Run that now. And if we go back onto if we now go to the client machine, and surprise surprise, I did not save that here. I thought I had already done that, but let's just go to the control panel and save this to desktop so that we don't need to do this all the time. Go to the actions, machine retrieval now. So we've sent the request. The next thing that we're going to do, I'm going to hop back onto the primary site server and then show you what I'm going to do. There is that I'm going to run the the software update scan cycle. So I'm going to run that circle. So that's all done. And if I go back to the client machine and run it also there, so okay, as you can see, it hasn't appeared here because it has not retrieved it yet. But if you if you cancel this out or close that and then go back to it, it should appear. It should have received it by now. Yep, there you go. The software update scan circle. So if you run that now, yeah, that will take a few minutes, and that's that. So we've run the machine. So the two things that we did to force the software update scan cycle was, first we did the machine policy retrieval, um, and then we ran the software update scan circle. You can view and confirm that this has completed by going to the Windows Windows log file. So if I just go there, so the Windows update file, and scroll. Let's see if I got this into word wrap, and scroll to the bottom, and it might take me a few minutes to check this out. Okay, still in progress. Still in progress on the client. Let's go on the primary site. So it should have completed here by now. Let's see. So so yeah, it's still in the progress. So we just need to wait a few minutes. We should wait a few minutes, and we will see that this is completed. So that's 4.3. See if it's done anything. Yeah, it's still. Oh, actually, it shows here. There you go. It shows that as of 4.3, it did find the. Let me zoom this in. It did find updates found at 46. Okay. All right. Let's cancel that out. So we have now completed we've now completed all this. What we now need to do, I need to show you how to generate software update compliancy reports in the monitoring workspace in the primary site server. So let me just close this and go onto the primary site server and close this. So if we go to the monitoring workspace and go on to the reporting, you could, if you want, do a search for software updates. Software updates. You could do a search, and it comes up with all the compliance and all the management and all the reports that you might need. But I prefer to actually scroll down to where it is, and then visit the go to the folder where you have where they're set up in folders according to what you want, like compliance in the deployment management, deployment status, scanning, and troubleshooting. So so for this case, what I'm going to do is to if I click on the compliance tool for a specific software update. So let's run this report. So just wait a few minutes for that to generate. So on the values, we are going to choose, let's choose the EMEA Pilot PC laptops. Click OK. And we are going to choose for the English. Now, because this is for a specific software update, you have to make sure that the spelling is you know what you're looking for, and you look for the correct software. You type in you type it correctly. So English update 1. So let's view the report. So actually, what I should have done is make a mistake here, just to show you that if you run and if you make a mistake in the spelling, it will not appear. You won't find it. It will not find anything. So it's case sensitive. It's you have to spell it correctly. So that's the English updates. Let me just expand that. So as you can see, the update is required on 2 computers. Nice. So the for the collection, we had 3 computers for this collection, and it's showing that 2 out of those 3 do need that software installed. Detection state unknown is 1. It's 33%. So let's click on this update. So it brings up the secondary compliance 8, and it shows you, gives you more information on which machines need that that installation, software. So if you click on that, so that's one way. Another thing that I could show you, you could actually go specific. You could go for a specific computer. So let's say we're going to choose this one, and just run a report, and it will actually show you. Okay. So what else do I want to show you? So if I go under management and um, search for updates required but not yet deployed. So under collection, we are going to choose again the EMEA Pilot PCs. Click OK. And we're going to choose the lab for the vendor, for the product vendor, and we are going for the classes, we're going to choose the critical updates. So click on that, view reports, and there you go. So that's all the reports. Okay, question here about the how to get this for management. You could set up subscriptions. That's for a different a different lesson lab evaluation, or you could just send them to the. You could send them links and give them access to the to the to this URL. Um, where they can they can find whatever information that they want from here. So let's say compliancy. So you have all the information there. They can run it just as, but obviously they need to know what they're doing here. But it's best that you set up a subscription that will give them that information. So English updates. So it takes them to the same place. Okay. All right. So that pretty much covers that. Now let's get to the exciting bit, which is deploying the software updates and using Configuration Manager software update management. So basically, we're going to distribute this a specific software updates using the Configuration Manager, and we're going to use the synthetic updates as no active connection to the internet is available to use the real Microsoft updates. It does take a while if you want to do it. If you want to do it, if you want to connect to the Microsoft side, it does take a. In fact, my recommendation is that you set the synchronization and you go home, and then you come back the next day, and then they will all be there. If not, you cannot do it in a lab session. Okay, so what we're going to do now is that if we go to the library, software library, we are going to run a summarization. Why are we running that? We want to identify which machines are required for installation. We run the summarization and we hit F5. It's not coming up yet. What I normally do is I go back a step and up a step, and there you go. So as you can see, all the machines are now showing that all these are required for on 2 machines for updates. It shows nothing has been deployed or downloaded yet. Okay, and then you can see the pie chart is pretty much the same for all of them. All right. So now what we're going to do is that we're going to create a software update groups, and to do that, what we're going to do is that because we've got about 46 software updates, we're going to narrow it down to a few. English update. So let's filter it down, and now it's brought down just a key few, and then we're going to choose the English updates 1, 2, and 3, and we're going to now create a group. Now I'm going to be a bit creative here, and I'm just going to call this Ejike Lab Critical Updates. Not going to bother with description, and just click create. So with that now created, if we go to the group, we'll now see that that has now appeared there, and you can click on it, and if you show members, it will show you the English updates that we've chosen, which is so on the software updates. Now you've got the English lab, the Ejike Lab critical updates, which is for the English updates. Okay, and all this is in the software update groups. All right. So now, key thing I need to point out to you is that, as you can see in the summary, compliance all is 000, but the key thing is that there's no deployment set up for this group. And also, if we go back to the individual updates, it does not it shows you that none of them have got any deployment set up. So we now need to deploy the software group. So to do that, if we just click on the group, highlight the group, and so we got click on deploy. So I'm just going to copy this, give that as description, as the total description, and let's remove that and call this lab critical. critical updates. So that's okay. If we had a deployment template, we could use that, but we don't have any. We're just going to create one for ourselves. For the browse, we're going to use again the EMEA Pilot PC laptops. Click OK. Click next. Yes, required. Just take the defaults. Yep, take the defaults as soon as possible. You could change the deadline from it's normally set to seven days. As you can see now, this is will set for 28th of Feb, but you can change it if you want. All right. So click next. Yeah, just take the default. No, let's not bother with alerts. Just click next. Okay, so for the packages to use, we are going to create one. We're going to call it critical updates. I'm not going to bother with description, and we are going to choose primary one, C dollar administrative critical. So we create a new folder under the C roots called critical. Click next. So here you get to add distribution points or groups. So in this case, we're going to choose the EMEA, the European distribution point groups. Click OK. Click next. And for the we're going to choose the download the software updates for a location. So here we can. It's going to choose the C drive, or we could type in the whole primary one. I think it's best that everybody starts using the UNC path for these locations, because as you can see, the last evaluation we did for applications, you can't use the local path anymore. So it's just good practice to start using the UNC paths. So we'll see the synthetic updates, and that pretty much covers it. Yeah, we've only got English. Yeah, so that, as I said before, this is where you could save this as a template, and then that will be, then you can now use that, but we're not using it. I recommend that you just create a new one for each time, because collections and groups might vary. Click next, and let's just wait for it to. Okay, so that was completed successfully. That's all good. So that's good. So now we have now that we've completed this, all I would like us to, what we're going to do now is to view the software update distribution points, and just to show you that this has now been updated, that you can now with the deployment process for each of these. So if you have a look here, as you can see, it now comes up with a deployment plan for each of these updates, and also I think for the group you should also, yep, for that it also shows you there the deployment type. Okay, So that pretty much covers everything. Now the final piece of the cake is we're going to force the configuration manager clients to receive the policy, which will provide the software update deployments to the clients. We're going to use both the primary site server, which is also a a client, and the client one machine. So let's do that on the let's start this on here, or straight away. So if we first, I'm going to jump back and forth just to save time. So start the machine retriever now. Click OK, and go on to the client machine. I can get rid of this and click on the action. Yeah. Machine retrieval, run now. Click OK. Click OK. We can leave that. And if I go back to the primary site server, sorry that I'm jumping back and forth. I'm just waiting for I want one cycle to complete before I start the other one. And if we click on the software update deployment evaluation to evaluate what needs to be um, to be updated, as you can see, that is all started to run immediately. And if I go back onto the client machine and run the software update deployment evaluation and run now, click OK. As you can see, that prompts us with some action. So if we click on the action, software required. So if we click on that, it now shows us that software changes must be applied onto your computer, give the time and all that. And you have the option to view the details, and this will prompt up the software center. As you can recall, previously we did not have anything, but now you can pick and choose what you want to install straight away. Gives you information on what it is, and you can just install that. As you can see, it's now downloading and it's waiting to install. So that's one way, or you could just apply all the required changes now. So this is empowering the end user to what he wants to do with those updates at that point in time. So we just click on OK to that, and that will complete the that. So let's go back onto the primary site server, and here we are going to jump straight in. We're gonna jump straight in, and we're gonna just apply it to all. We're not gonna bother with just viewing the three. Okay. So we have now successfully retrieved the policy, retrieved the update, the deployments for the software updates, and now we are going to validate that this has been completed in the the monitoring workspace. If we go to the monitoring workspace, back to reports, like you said, you can do a search. I prefer to just go to scroll down to whatever I want to choose, and then choose it that way. So let's go to the software updates compliancy for specific updates, and just go around the same thing again. We chose the EMEA pilot PC, and we are looking for the English pack updates. Update 1. So you can view that, and if you can have a look there, so it shows you that the update is now installed on two machines, as you can see. So if you just click on that, and I should have actually shown open this up so that you can see the secondary report. So that shows you that the machines have been installed on these two machines. So let me just go back. So this is the compliance specific software update states secondary, which I can also show you in the compliance folder. So let me just click that again, and that shows you the computers in the specific compliance states for an update secondary. reports. So that's that. So if I close that, and that pretty much covers it. Okay, I did mention that I was going to show you. So remember what I said about the secondary reporting. So it shows you these are the secondary reporting, which are spin-offs of these compliance reports. So that pretty much covers it. The only thing that I could show you actually is the overall compliance. So if we click on the overall compliance and choose the value for that group, the software update group that we just created, and on the filter we're going to choose for the EMEA pilot group and click view. It shows you that the client collection has 3 machines, and the compliance state unknown 3. I'm surprised. I was expecting 2. So I'm not sure why that is there. As usual, whenever you're doing a live demo, you do have you do run into 1 or 2 things, but I can't explain that right now. But anyway, so that is a bit surprising. I have no idea. I'm just trying to think. No, I can't come up with any reason why that is. But anyway, let's go back onto the. What else did I want to show you? Let's go on to management, see if there's anything interesting there. Deploying that content. So these are just different reports that you can choose. I think I'm going to stop here. I don't want to, since I'm getting some reports that I wasn't expecting. So I just closed that. All right. So the next thing I want to show you is that in the actual console itself, you can have a look at the library. If we go back to the library, software updates, and go on to the all software, and if you look for the English update, okay, it still shows here that 2 machines require that. That's because the summarization hasn't been updated, so we need to run that. We can run that, and if we go back and forth again, it's still not there. Run the summarization. Let's run again. Get out. Go back in. Oh, interesting. There you go. So as you can see, for the update, it shows that it's now been installed on 2 machines. Percentage compliance is 67, and downloaded. It's been downloaded, and yes, it has been deployed, and that is also shown in the pie chart. Okay, so that pretty much covers everything under the I don't think there's anything else I need to point out, is there? There is nothing else to point out. Okay, if I go back to the groups, I can just point out there. Okay, this hasn't been updated. The same thing also, if you run a summarization again, it will update. It might take a while, but it will eventually update. Okay, so that's there. All right. So same thing. If you go to the members, it all shows you there. Okay, so that pretty much covers everything that we want to show about manually running the updates, the software updates onto client machines. Now, another thing we can do is actually implement an automatic deployment rule to deploy software updates. This is a cool thing to do, that you can set it up to run onto a text collection, and you can now have you can now put the responsibility to key developers or head of departments to test those machines every so often to make sure that the updates are compliant to their applications before it's being sent to the whole company. So that's a good way of using this automatic deployment rule. So now let's. So I'm going to show you that, and to do that is, if we go back to so first I'm going to show you that in the automatic deployment rule we don't have sorry, we don't have anything there right now. But if we click on software, and if we do a search for universe, let me just, this should have many, would we? So yeah, so universal update. So we're gonna change. What we're gonna do is that we're gonna first modify and the custom severity of this particular update. So if we click on the properties and change this to critical, so we now change it to critical. Now we're going to create an automatic deployment rule. So if we go back to the automatic deployment rule and click on create rule, so we sorry, so we're gonna just name it anything that we I in a production environment. This is what I will do. I'll call it patch, probably patch. That's if my keyboard will respond to me. Patch Tuesday, and critical updates. So I'm just gonna put test updates. Okay. So so we've put that. So now you're going to manage the templates. It comes with two predefined updates, templates. We're going to use the patch Tuesday, which I do recommend for you for every the famous patch Tuesday, and we're going to use a collection. For this one, I can use. Let's say we use the Nala. No, the Nala pilot servers for this case. We're going to choose that. We're going to choose that. Just take the defaults. Yeah. Okay. Sorry about that. Now, okay. Now, in the properties here, you can see if we do a preview here, there is nothing there. For the past day, for the date release or revise. This will be different in the production environment, obviously, but now we want to choose the custom severe. We want to choose the custom severity that we have updated, and if we change this to critical, that we've and the update security classification, we change this. We can change that. We could leave it and then just put. We could take all or just put the one that we know that is set up. And if we now do a preview, we now see the universal update that we have that we modified previously. So that's that. So we click next. Yeah, take the default. Yeah, take the defaults. 7 days. Yeah, we could set this to suppress system restart on the following devices. For instance, for here we're going to say for servers. Not worried about alerts right now. I just take the default. There's nothing to do here. Now, for the sorry, for for the deployment package, we're gonna set this to um, we're gonna let me think. Yeah, so we're gonna browse. Yeah, we're gonna click the create the critical updates. Yeah, that's the filter, critical updates, and yeah, click next. And we're going to choose to download software updates from a location on our network. And for this, we're going to go back to the primary one slash WSUS. No, okay, sorry, not there. Lab. It's in my lab, isn't it? Lab and was synthetic. And click next. Yeah, we just want English. Click next. So this is where you can save. You can save as a template, but like I said, I recommend that you always create it from scratch so that you know for sure what containers and DPs you're choosing. Click next. So that's all. Yep. Click close. So we have now created it. We've now created the rule. Now we need to force the evaluation of the automatic deployment rule. So all we need to do is to highlight it and click run now. So when you click run now, you should automatically see in the groups. Okay, I was expecting it to be here. Should be okay. There you go. I had a bit of a panic there because it's normally very fast. Okay, so that concludes that the patch, the auto patch, has been configured and set up to run. And if you go onto the deployments, it shows that the deployments has been pre-enabled and set up. And this is for the Nala pilot servers. So that pretty much covers it. So obviously for you to that pretty much covers it. There is nothing else that I think that needs to view or to do. The key thing to point out here, obviously, is that you can deploy it straight away. You've already done that, so you don't need to do that. And that covers it. Okay, so hopefully I've touched everything, all the key things. I will have a look at the chats with my colleagues and friends to see if there's anything that I can add to, but this pretty much covers it. Okay, thanks for joining, and see you next time.